Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so excited to have you join us today, which is December the 29th, 2024. I'm Carol Ray from Central Texas, and we have a whole host of things for you today at this end of the year celebration. Gary Malkin is our special guest, has a wonderful music selection for you all. And we have, as usual, our in the background, Cornelia's back there working on cross-posting and getting things shared to Facebook for those who are wanting to look at the Facebook post. So we're excited to have you here. And if this is your first time, there's Stephen. Hey, Dr. Wessler, so good to see you here. Happy New Year. If you're brand new, there's a chat function in Zoom that you can say, hey, I'm new and where you're from. And if you so desire, where did you hear about ancient secrets? How is it that you came to be here today? So if you'd put that in the chat, that would be lovely. And we have we have so much that we want to reflect on as to what this year has meant. I was looking back at some of the headlines from last year and thinking, oh my goodness, a lot of things haven't changed, but there are some things that are new and different. So I'm gonna ask Dr. Stephen, you want to unmute yourself and say, hey,
Hey, how is everybody today? I'm just walking the doggies in the woods. Beautiful day today.
hey, Hank.
Hank and Ella.
Ella, that's right. I don't know Ella as well as Hank has been around for years on our calls. So,
Absolutely.
and you are
Yeah.
in, outside Syracuse?
Yeah, right inside Syracuse. Yeah. So, yeah, just looking forward to this year, going to India in a couple of weeks, be at the Malad Clinic and then at the Kumbh Mela. And it's just another year of growing and playing.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's so good to see you today. Thanks so much for popping in.
Good to see you too. Good to see you're well.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes. We have a captions function for those of you who have English as a second language. You can go down to the captions and pick your language. We'll be in English here, of course, but you can choose to see the context of captions in Spanish or Italian or German or whatever that you'd like. So that is an option that you can select down at your menu for closed captions, and then or menu more. Sometimes it's there for translation. So hope you'll take advantage of that. And let's see, I'm going to get business. Somebody else is sharing. Okay, I'm going to stop whoever's sharing and do my screen here, just get this out of the way. So one of the things that we like to make sure that you know is the information that we share here is for educational and informational purposes only. So we always encourage you, if you have a medical condition or emotional one, that you consult your medical professionals, and that we have full disclaimers in the book Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer and on our various websites and pages. So just want to get that out of the way so that you're informed about our disclaimer. And we have so much coming up and so many things happening. One of the first things that's still to come at the end of this year is the Portuguese call. So we're on chapter 9 of Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer by Dr. Clint G. Rogers. And this call is all in Portuguese for those in Brazil or Portugal or Martinique or wherever you find yourself. If Portuguese is your native language, we invite you to join us at 10 Pacific on the 31st as we finish up chapter 9 for our book study in Portuguese. So we have that going on. And then coming up the first of the year, Susan, would you please be so kind as to talk about our art things that are coming up here on this? Let's see, is that the 7th, I believe? No, 8th. 8th is art time. Susan?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry I can't be on video right now.
No
But
problem.
on the 8th, we're going to have fun together making soul collages. And it's a great process where you find magazine pictures or pictures, and we're going to glue them onto cards and be able to express our souls and then share with each other. So it's a lot of fun. Please join us. It's a $5 donation and just a chance to connect and have a deep, meaningful, fun time together. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Susan. Appreciate that. And we also have this is our final month for Ancient Secrets for Emergency Preparedness. This is started in October. It's wrapping up in January. We have 3 classes in January, and the dates are the 9th, the 18th, and the 25th. So the first one is on a Thursday, and the other 2 are on Saturdays, and all of those are at 10 Pacific. So we have moved from a 72-hour grab and go bag planning session to sheltering at home, and we're talking about foods and storage and things that are really helpful. We've had a whole session on foraging, which was really, really exciting. And we're going to be talking about for people who need to think ahead of earthquakes, what you can do to prepare in advance for that. And we have a wonderful session on the Thursday, the 9th, from Tony Lister. He's going to talk about trauma release. And we also have a special session from Pamela Curley on integrating our emotions with our body. So much coming on that, and certainly timely with all that's happening in the world. So we hope that you'll want to join that. The links are in our newsletter. Hopefully you're plugged into our wonderful newsletter that comes out weekly. It's we have the materials in English and Spanish, and so you can still sign up for that. It's a donation basis. We have I think the numbers somewhere in the 1,190 people who have signed up for this course. So it's one that we hope you would like to join us for as well for that last month. And then let's see what else we have. Deborah Ann, could you talk about the detox, please?
Thank you, Carol. Sure. So, to celebrate the new year, you know how we all make these promises to ourselves, and sometimes maybe we've outgrown that, I don't know. But um, we are going to be having the 7-day delicious detox starting on the 6th and going through the 12th. And we're going to be sharing well, vibrant health, unlimited energy, and peace of mind is what Ancient Secrets shares. And so part of what we'll be doing is sharing some of that information. How do we get that as we go through the 7-day detox? So whoever would like to join us, I am sure there's a link in the newsletter. And any questions you may have, please send them our way. Thank you, Carol.
Well, thank you so much, Deborah Ann. And those are so helpful. Start the new year, getting all the toxicity out, getting the inflammation down, and it's like a whole new beginning. And we want to talk a little bit about some of our wonderful successes that we've had for this year. And Hope, if we can get you on screen, I'd love to hear about what's happening with our Nepal bridge program. Hope, are you?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Beautiful. Take it away.
Thank you. Good to see you all, and Happy New Year. I just wanted to bring everybody up to date because about a year ago, we started to talk about this bridge program, those orphan children who are aging out of the orphan homes at age 18, and how there was a great backlog of them from the 9 different orphanages of over 50 children. And the goal has been to raise money to be able to support them in their next steps towards university or towards a training school. And in the course of this 12 months, we have raised over $50,000. We have found through amazing Fitzgerald or whatever, so magic, we found a training school that was just perfect for those children who did not want to go to university, and they are all just about to complete their coursework in there, and they have learned everything from hair cutting to auto mechanics and everything in between. We're so excited because these were children who were basically deer in headlights, didn't know where to turn, what to do, how to leave the orphan home, which has been their home for most of their lives. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for all the efforts that were made. The music, the art, the generosity has been incredible. We are hoping to continue to reach our goal, which is 100,000, to now help them find apartments, shared apartments, so that they can go on into internships, and for the ones in university, continue their studies until they graduate. So we are still shepherding those over 50, but we have another group coming in. They're much, much fewer. We have somewhere between 12 and 15 who are going to be graduating this year. Now that we've hopefully unclogged the system and moving these children along, then it'll be easier in the future. So I just wanted to report back that it's been, and I think, an incredible success, and mostly, and this last piece I'll say, mostly in the mindset of these children who started out terrified, didn't want to do anything, like had their fingers clenched like this. And now they're excited and they're willing and able to think about a future. So that's gigantic. And so we've caused a ripple that's going to continue to flow. So thank you very much.
I just
Hope
need,
what happens to kids in Nepal that don't have opportunities to support themselves financially?
Well, if you can imagine being in a hive of 30 brothers and sisters and a loving parent or parents that are your surrogate parents, to step outside those gates, first of all, makes you now no longer a member of a hive. You are a solo unit. That has never been experienced by any one of these children ever. To walk outside those gates with no family backup, no funding, not enough training. Obviously, they are incredibly vulnerable. And sometimes what happens is that they get swept up into some of the more nefarious things that happen on the planet. Unfortunately, orphans all over the world are targets for human trafficking, and it is no different in Nepal, sadly. So we really feel like this is a huge humanitarian effort, and hopefully, if we can keep this blueprint that we're all in the middle of forming as we go, and refining as we go. If this can stay in place, it'll be a model for other orphan homes all over the world. And we can really change this dynamic so that the vulnerable don't get exposed that way.
And so could you add to the chat where some people who might have some extra funds at the end of the year that they're looking for a place to make a meaningful donation? Could you add that so that people have that opportunity who would be interested in helping support the Bridge Project for Nepal?
Sure, and just so everybody knows, it is on the Ancient Secrets website, but I will put the link in the chat.
Awesome. And Gary, I think you had something you wanted to say to Hope.
well, I just wanted to say that the effort and the vision and the stick-to-itiveness that Hope and her team have manifested is such an inspiration. And part of it was also because of her husband's ability to tap into matching funds. So with the company he worked with, Hewlett Packard. So I just want to ask if any of you are aware of companies that have matching philanthropy programs, or companies that have interest in actually promoting this project as a not just an individual donation but a corporate donation. It is such a phenomenal, important, kind of missing piece in the culture on a global level. So I just remember that we all have connections to people that are not just rich people that want to be philanthropists, but also organizations that might have matching funds like Jim had found in his company. So please think about this, because in some ways they're more vulnerable. Well, not more. They're as vulnerable as they were when they were 4 years old in a different way. So just admire you so much, Hope, for what you've done, and so appreciate everything you're doing.
Well, thank you, Gary, but I want to also say I did not do this alone. And
Why I said the team.
I
Yeah.
know, but I'm going back and I'm saying Renara, for instance, has been performing and is continuing to perform wherever she can. If you would like to have Renara come to your community, and she'll do a concert without any charge. If you know of a church space or a community space or anything like that, and can bring people to it, that's how she's raising money, and it's a tremendous personal time cost for her. She's flying herself to wherever she needs to be. She's going to be in Washington, D.C. very soon, and she's fundraising for this program. So that if you want Renara to come to you, let us know. And I'll put my email in the chat as well, because I send out regular announcements about this. If you would like to be informed, please let me know, and I'll add you to the list and the WhatsApp group as well, if you like. We need as many hands on this as we can possibly have. So there you go.
So one other thing you could talk a minute about, Hope, is the tours of Nepal. We got one coming up in March. How did that change life for you to go to Nepal for the first time?
Oh, just a wee bit. Well, I was fortunate enough to meet you there 2 years ago, I guess it was. We had just a remarkable time, and that's when this whole thing was born. I was with my wonderful, amazing roommate Beverley, and we got talking about this issue of what happens to the kids when they have to leave, and that just became this. We became the squeaky wheel, and there she is, my dear buddy. I love Beverly, and she's been along. We've been together on this the whole way. So I'm kind of the spokesperson, but I'm not obviously the only engine in this. And Beverly is one of them. So we were very moved, weren't we, Beverly?
Yes. Yes, this is a very important endeavor for me, because I know that it's very difficult for kids to leave the nest.
Yeah.
And I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It is, and having raised so many children yourself, Beverly's sensitivity to it as clearly is heightened. But you don't have to have done that to understand the issue. And I think the thing is, I think what really got us is that when you're in the orphan homes with the children, the joy quotient and the connectivity amongst the children is so over the top and so infectious. Like, we go in as our whatever we are, our adult selves and everything, and within moments it starts to morph into this other thing. We get caught up in their love for one another, in their cooperation, in their selflessness, in their just bubble of joy, right? And so it's from that place that you realize how precious it is, how rare it is. And so from that place, thinking of not having that, what is it like for them when they have to leave that? And how can we help to bridge them into independent living, but still stay connected to that life source, that beautiful love in the orphan homes?
yes, and they've also created a family in their home. And it's not traditional in Nepal to leave the family until you have yourself established, until you have a career, how you have your education, maybe you're getting married, and that's why you're leaving home. And so these children see this as their home. But we all know in systems, which unfortunately they're part of too, that if the door doesn't open at one end, it's closed at the other. So if these children do not move out of the orphanage and do not get themselves established, then the opportunity for the younger ones that are still on the streets and still need lots of help can't come in the other door. And so we need to be able to clear the beds so that the newer children get the same opportunity as they've had. But that's a hard lesson to learn, and it's scary.
Very scary, which explains why they were just kind of frozen in place for so many years. So there are we call them children, but they're 21, 22, some of them who have not been able to get up the gumption or have a direction. And so hopefully by funding them to go to the training schools, giving them a skill, offering them the opportunity for internships, and then university for the others who are ready for that, if their grade level is at a certain grades are at a certain point, they start to hone to an independent life. But it's not easy, and we're asking them to do it in a very short amount of time. So now our program is going to start younger and younger and younger. We'll be starting with the seniors and the juniors and the sophomores, so that there's a track laid, and people are starting to think about these things at a younger age. But the
The
rest
other,
of the sorry, Beverly, go ahead.
well, that's okay. The other thing that's really important is that whatever we do as a group, as individuals, it has to be sustainable.
Yeah.
There's too many people that go to places like Nepal and with a wonderful idea. And a friend of mine gave an example of people coming in and building schools, but not having the funds and the capability of carrying the schools on. So there sits an empty building because there's no teachers, there's no books, there's no ways of sustaining the school. So whatever we do has to be sustainable 10 years from now, not just at this point. And so it will be an ongoing fundraising endeavor for a long time, so that we do support these children. As Hope says, the next group is knocking on the door, coming right out behind this group. So, and it will happen over and over. So this is has to be sustainable.
To that point, Beverly, I'm really glad you brought that up, because what would help us is, and you can see it on the page, there is an option for monthly giving, even if it's $5, $10. It goes a long way in Nepal. And just knowing that we have a steady stream of funds will really, really help us. So something to consider, if that floats your boat, we would welcome it. And much like Charity Water or any of the other, even giving to Ancient Secrets, just to know that we have something sustainable, as Beverly says.
And Belle has given us a big boost, and I mean, I'm sure Belle's not alone.
Belle has given us a gigantic boost.
Yeah.
We are incredibly grateful to her for her generosity, her thoughtfulness, and this has been a goal, a wish for a long time, and she could finally pull it off. There she is, Miss Belle.
Belle, tell people what you've done.
Well, it's just, this program is just sort of opened up a whole kind of possibility in my world of, and I had this big piece of property for sale. It's been for sale for 3.5 years. And so I committed to donating out of the sale of the property a certain percentage or piece or this or that. And miraculously, the property sold about 3 weeks ago. I mean, here at the end of the year, here with this year projection. And so, and even before it sold, when it was in escrow, I put this $10,000 in, because it was kind of like paying it forward, that commitment that it was going to see it through. And I'm actually doing that again right now, just as we speak, another 10,000 into this program. And, I think it just is, I pray that my oldest grandson, who's 21, will come with me to Nepal in March. But first I need to get my body back in shape. It kind of went south in the 3 years that this property's been on the market. So I have, I think I better step into Deborah Ann's 7-day and into another program that kind of leads me to March, having gotten the flow going again. But I just, I don't know. There's just, I'd like to go and expand my world into these orphan homes. I mean, my world is very narrow and doesn't have a clue what life would be like in Nepal, and least of all as an orphan, and this love. And so I'm ready for transformation. I'm ready, and this is one of the ways to buy into transformation. I'm clear. It's like this. So
Yes,
yeah, I
you
just
will. You can't not.
I know again not. And I think that's, I've been missing kind of a future to be given by. And in a way, this is really this very idea of expanding to a whole nother part of the world. And, and just what you're saying, Hope, to be open, to be, yeah, like really transformed with love. I mean, how does it get better than that? So anyway, it's a new place for me. It's as I said, I hope the first who comes with me will be my oldest grandson. He said yes, and I'm gonna so we're gonna work on the details of that. So
Great.
yeah, thank you for letting me share.
I see Julie's here too, and she's also part of the fundraising. So
Yes, Julie's on the team, and she's been working really hard to come up with a system. I don't know. It's hard. It's kind of hard to explain because it's got many facets. There she is.
Jules, super Jules. No. We get you on. There you go, unmuted.
Yeah, Nepal's been a huge part of my life for the last 12 years. So meeting the ancient secrets and this particular project has been just refreshing because, as Beverley said, it's got to be sustainable. And that's what I've seen time and time again. People putting money, thinking money is the answer, but it's not. It's follow through and care and upkeep and all of that. So I'm so glad that she talked about that. But I've been taking people on spiritual pilgrimages to India, Nepal, and Tibet for the last 12 years, minus COVID. And so one of the things I can do, I'm leaving for India on Wednesday, is offer a trip where I'll give the proceeds over cost to the project. So if anybody's interested, I'm going to be there for 6 months, so I can be very flexible. What's coming up soon, it happens over 6 weeks from January 14th to March, but is the Kumbh Mela, the Maha Kumbh Mela. And that is a Hindu spiritual pilgrimage where the Triveni Sangam, the Yamuna, the Ganges, and the Sarasvati rivers all meet. So it's part of the trip. It's not the whole trip, but I go to the main places of the Buddha's life where he attained his enlightenment. And then, of course, the ancient city of Varanasi and the Kumbh Mela. Yeah. So if anybody's interested in any of those, and I also organize for other people trips. So if you have a group that wants to do something, I can do anything. All for the kids, though. This is all offer is for the proceeds to go to this project. So
be sure to put your information in the chat so people know how to get a hold of you, Julie.
I did that.
And Julie, the trip in February is how many days long?
15. Yeah, the organized trip I've been selling is February 1st through 15th. Yeah. So if anybody wants more information on that, but if somebody wanted to go to Nepal on Clint's trip and they wanted to organize something before or after it, I could help out with that also.
Okay.
Because they're going to be all the way over there for those who have the extra funds and time and desire. Yeah.
Thank you, Julie. So yeah, so I think that kind of wraps us up pretty well. Please join our team. We're a dedicated bunch, and we'd love to have your thoughts and your energy to help continue to make this sustainable. So reach out.
Thanks so much, Hope. That was fantastic. So
Thank you.
I thought I could, there we go. Oh my goodness. So I was able to go on the trip 2023 to Nepal and met a lot of these people that you got to meet today, and to see Dr. Clint's passion for the kids and their unbelievable open heart love of him. He's like a big kid himself, and we were all dancing and singing and having the best time. It was just a remarkable experience that I hope maybe that's on your list of things that you want to include for what's coming for your new year. So I thought it'd be a good idea to first I'm going to share with you what our quote for today is from our book from Ancient Secrets, and I have this up on my screen. This is from chapter 13. Who can share? I don't know why that's up. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So this is coming from Jeff Spires, who is a international speaker, author, motivator, and a simple paradigm shift is all it takes to change the course of your life forever. And this is so very true for Ancient Secrets, and just how we view things can change so very much. And one of my all-time favorites is Aditi Devabhawa. No matter what happens, look at it as if it could be a gift from God or the goddess to enhance or expand your life. And it's just such a change when we go from I'm a victim to, oh, wonder what's the grace in this for me. I had one of those this week where I was meditating and seeing lightning strikes, and I'm thinking, now that's interesting. My eyes are closed and I'm seeing lightning strikes in my left eye. And I'm thinking, okay, well, left is past. Maybe that's because I've had 3 lightning strikes up close and personal. And I thought, well, that's really odd. And then I noticed this thing in my eye, and what I found out, went to the optometrist because like something's going on, that I have this vitreous fluid has separated from my retina. And the lesson in it for me has been my brain will tell me lies. My brain will tell me, danger, there's something moving over here that's not known. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's just that fluid floating around. It's not a big deal. And it would tell me, like, with my eyes closed, like, lightning strikes. Like, no, that's not what it is at all. This is just a part of this healing process that takes 6 to 8 weeks. So if I look at even this little tear in my retina as something that there is a blessing in it, because it's really made me realize how much that brain can be wrong, just wrong, and that I have to stop and say, is that really true? And so that's been pretty enlivening. So Devananda, did you have something you'd like to add?
Hi, Carol. Yes, what you just mentioned. There was years ago, I went to, was going to an ashram in Homestead, Florida, and we were learning Kriya Yoga there, right? So some people report what you just described. And we see maybe lights, maybe movement of, you can see a light moving. And some people would describe that as seeing God. So during meditation, sometimes it happens and I can see energy moving when my eyes closed, right? I can see forms like clouds passing fast, some things like that. And that's how they would say. So I always get happy if I get to see it, you know.
Absolutely. That's a great example of how looks like, a medical issue on one side, but it can be a divine thing on the other. Cornelia?
Yeah, for me, that when we were talking about what kind of quote we were going to use today, that one came up for me, and that really hit something very deep in me, because it actually represents a complete shift in my perspective and in my paradigm and belief system. When I was about in my late 30s, I read something that changed my life forever, and it was an idea that we are actually here and we choose our environment, we choose our parents. And when I read that, it really changed my life, because I grew up in a household where my father was an alcoholic. There was a lot of fighting. There was a lot of physical abuse there. And I had always blamed my parents, and particularly my father, for that. But the moment I read that, it was as if something really opened up for me, because I moved from being a victim to actually taking responsibility for what I had experienced in my life. And I realized in that moment that I am on a soul journey, and it was my soul that's what I believe now, that my soul actually chose my parents for it to have certain experience that I needed for my soul development. And from that moment on, I could never think of my parents in the same way, because suddenly I actually embraced them for what they had given me, the gift of development. And that really was such a profound, so when I read that quote, it really resonated with me, because it is exactly the moment I changed that belief system or that paradigm from being a victim of my parents, of me having chosen them, I could love them in a completely different way, and I could make peace with them in a way that I hadn't thought possible. And that is the power of a paradigm shift. If you can really embrace that also in big things in our life, what is a belief system that you are carrying, maybe now that we are coming to the end of the year, that you might be holding, that is actually, if you were to change that, would change your life forever.
So
Carol, you want to go on?
we just
Or,
had
Deborah,
okay.
go ahead.
we
No,
just had
let's
a
go.
moment, those moments that the universe invites us into presence rather than a pregnant pause. Let's just accept that that was a moment inviting us to drop in for a second. And all of us together, just let's drop in with that beautiful awareness and with everything. It's those special moments are literally inviting us into presence together. Thanks.
Jeffra, Happy New Year to you. Oh,
I was just trying to unmute myself.
okay.
Yeah, I really, I'm grateful for the work that Hope and Beverly and so many people have done, Belle. And I really resonated with what you were saying, with what Cornelia was saying. I had a sponsor once, and she said, everything happens for me, not to me. And that really changed. I mean, it's sort of like the Atithi Deva Bhava in a way. I mean, it's another way of saying that. And it's just a different way of looking at life, that this happened to me. Oh, I was abused, and this horrible abuse, and da da da. And then I'm just, life is the cause and I'm the effect. It's just not a very empowering place to come from. And yeah, I keep thinking, why would I have chosen my particular parents? But I do think that's true. I still think we have to work to make it a more just world. I don't,
Right.
that doesn't take away from that, but I was thinking about, also what she said about, well, what is my worldview, and how could changing what my worldview is into something else, like what kind of a difference could that make? that maybe I went through, a lot of us have been through a lot of pain so that we can be in this time when, it's pretty cataclysmic stuff is going on. And in particular, I had a relationship for 9 years with a friend that I later realized that I was in love with her. And it just was it was so good in so many ways. And it just turned so terrible. And I haven't been able to let go of it. I have made so many efforts to forgive, and I have been unable to. And some of you have been involved in those efforts. And I was thinking, okay, well, if I chose to be in this relationship and then have it kind of blow up in my face, what was that about? Maybe I'm not supposed to be so dependent on another person. Maybe I'm supposed to traverse. I mean, when I say my own path, I mean, we're all connected to each other. There's no such thing as a self-made man or woman. I mean, it's really not true. They have millions of people behind, the bigger they are, the more people they have behind them. But I don't know. It's just a different way to think about it coming into this time, and what kind of love, when there's so much stuff, that goes on. And also, we don't know the impact we're having. I mean, I confronted some people about some stuff, and, they looked at me like I was insane. And, but you don't know. You don't know what impact you make on somebody. You just don't know. And so sometimes I don't see anything in the moment, but sometimes something that somebody says really does have an impact. So anyway, I just wish everyone a beautiful new year, and that's a good way to be thinking and feeling. Thank you.
Thank you, Shifra, and thank you for your fundraising efforts. Shifra hosted a wonderful evening with art and poetry and music, and all of the proceeds for that also supported our kids in Nepal. So lots of people here who have that. And I just want to take 1 minute to do just a couple of marmas, because there's a particular one that we can help get clarity as to what do we want. But before we get to what do we want, let's let go with our left hand. And this is one that we do here in the tender spot between the webbing of the thumb and the forefinger. And we're just going to create a frame over the left eye. And this frame, we're going to put something that we need to let go of. Maybe it's forgiveness of self or others, or maybe it's to let go of victimhood. Whatever it is, go to that space when you're sitting up straight, and you take a breath here, and then create that thing in that frame that you want to let go of. And then we're going to press 6 times here. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then if you had success in that, you can pat yourself 6 times and say, well done, me, good job. And then another one that's really important is love of self. And one of my favorite Bible verses is, love thy neighbor as thyself. But if you don't love yourself, it's really hard to love your neighbors, especially if they're not like you at all. So let's do the self-love. And it turns out in Chinese medicine, these 2 acupuncture points are really important for mental health and for releasing anxiety. So self-love here on the ears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And should you find yourself in a position of an anxiety attack, you cross your arms and do your ears while you do knee squats. And that will almost always bring you out of a panic attack. So if you've lost your car at the parking lot of Buc-ee's like I did on Thursday, and you're kind of freaking out, cross your arms, do a couple of squats and go, okay, I got this, I got this. So that one is really important. And then we're going to do this one with our left hand behind our ear, our head. And we're going to press this precious point here that helps with the focus of our brain and our mind, and it increases the blood flow. And we're going to exhale when we come away and inhale with it back. So exhale 1, inhale, exhale 2, inhale, exhale 3, inhale, exhale 4, inhale, exhale 5, inhale, exhale 6. Feels so good. And then to wrap up, on our right hand, on our index finger, we create a white frame over the right eye and we say, what do I want? What is my highest purpose? What does my divine order want for me? And we're going to do that at the very tip of this. You can squeeze it between your thumb and your forefinger as we ask this very important question as we close out this year. What do I want? And we'll do this 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And with that, you can also do the middle one and say, what's my highest priority? For Dr. Clint, it was getting a sustainable set of funds for the kids in Nepal. But his highest priority was his health. So this is a really important one. It's what's most important now. So we'll do that one as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And with that, I'm going to send you a blast of love and turn it over to Gary.
I didn't know you were going to turn it on to me. Hi, hi, hi. Hello, everybody. So I'm going to look at the gallery view. It's so much sweeter to see everybody. Hi, hi, everyone. Yay. Oh, my God. So, I thought of what I was going to share musically today, and some of you might have heard this song before. It's kind of Esther, I'm going to let Esther in. It's kind of my signature song. I've sung it everywhere, all over the world, almost on every continent. But it's a good song for the end of the year, because when I was in my, like 18 or 19, I was in love with Joni Mitchell and that famous song in Woodstock, "We Are Stardust. We are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden." And then over the years, I've now discovered through the work of Brian Swim and all these amazing, I forget now the person he wrote the book with, but it's about the fact that we really are stardust, that we're 95% all the same as stardust, and all of the genetics and the minerals and the chemicals that we have, we share with all life, right? So this song, "Do You Remember Who You Are," is a really beautiful way to create a sense of interconnection to the community that we are, not with each other, but with all life, with all the whole universe. And that's one of the reasons why I'm super into this thing called the Holo Movement. So together, let's just all close our eyes for a minute and take 3 breaths, okay? Let's close our eyes and deep, deep breathe. Do an audible sigh, which is always so good for you. And it's almost like a relief breath, release breath. So it's like, yeah, good, 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 good. So as we listen to this song, you guys know, those of you who know me, know that songs are never just songs. They're not about entertainment. They're not about, oh, isn't that pretty? They're about shifting our molecular structure and elevating ourselves to a sense of real connectedness with each other and our hearts, creating a connection with our hearts and our minds. There are all kinds of, it's just the fastest way to bring a sense into oneness. So at the end of this song, there's going to be opportunity for us to all sing together, but we're not, it's chaotic if we all hear it. So in the privacy of your own home, please sing, even if someone's in the room and they think you're there and that you're embarrassed, doesn't matter. Singing is a beautiful way to massage your inner self on every scale, on every level. And the line is, "We will remember who we are." So when we sing those words, please don't sing them like just because everybody else is doing them. "We will remember who we are" is a profound statement. It means that at this moment, this collection of human beings will never, ever be the same at any time in the future, ever again. There'll be different gatherings, but it'll never be like this. So we will remember who we are as a vow to the universal beings that we are, to the beings that we are that are so doing our best to say yes to life, right? So may this song be a time of communion with this amazing family. I've been rather absent this year because I'm working on building my self-reliance tools for moving forward. And I'm in Hope Fitzgerald's old house, actually, which is a blessing beyond words. I'm living 10 minutes away from hope, and it's amazing. But this is such a time of gratitude and grace. I went to see It's a Wonderful Life with Hope's husband on Christmas Eve day, and I feel like George Bailey. I feel like the line that he says in Clarence the Angel's book says, "No one is a failure if they have friends," right? So I see the nodding, right? And I was just sobbing because I am the richest man in the world. I have such amazing friends, and this community is certainly one of them. So let's listen together, not just with our ears and our minds, but with our hearts, bodies, and souls. And this song is Do You Remember Who You Are? And I just recorded it 2 weeks ago, this new version that I put so we could sing at the end of it together. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's just use the random spotlighting. And by the way, please try to resist when the spotlight comes on. Try to resist waving. You know, if you want to, it's fine. But remember, we're experiencing one another as we are, right? The magic and the beauty of each of us. So just if you have to wave, go ahead. It's fine. But it's such a miracle just to see the presence of each person. Sorry for such a long introduction, Cornelia. You know me, I love to talk. Here we go. Here we go. Ready? And begin. Use your breath as a way to get more present. So grateful to be with this community. The sun comes up, I hear a cry. A baby's born, I see her eyes. We're made of grace and a wisp of stars. Do you remember who you are? We take first steps and we fall each day. Then we take that breath to go on our way. We're made of hope and a wisp of stars. Do you remember who you are? Seasons come and seasons go, like clouds pass through the sky. First we're born and then we go, without ever knowing why. We have this moment, we have each other. We have this breath of life that's gone. In a blink of an eye, we fill our days with endless goals. Yet we search and pray to find our souls. We're made of song and a wisp of stars. Do you remember who you are? We plant a seed and watch it grow. A flower blooms, but the petals know where a flash of light and a wisp of stars. Do you remember? Will you remember? Will we remember who we are? Sing along. We will remember who we are. 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 We will remember. We will remember who we are. We will remember. We will remember who we are. We're a flash of light and a wisp of stars. Will you? Will we? We will remember who we are. So touching. It's so beautiful to see each and every one of you. Each of you are such expressions of the light. It's so beautiful to see the magnificence and the uniqueness and the beauty of each and every one of you. We are so blessed to be alive at this time where we and our love can make a difference in so many ways. Thank you for letting me share the song. I wrote it for my sister who is dying of brain cancer, and every time I sing it, I feel her closer. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share that amazing opportunity of letting the cat out of the bag, that we're going to disappear one day. So we might as well make every breath count as if it's our last. I love you guys, and I'm with you guys. And I see you, and I honor you, and I love you so much. All my best.
Oh, thank you so much, Gary. That was so beautiful. So beautiful. It's it's a pleasure to have you, and it's just
Isn't it amazing, Carol, when you look at all the faces? I mean, just looking at Esther, for example, just the treasure chest of Esther. I mean, like, my God, every one of us is a treasure chest filled with so many jewels. It's so beautiful. And I love what it looks like when we sing that song. We will remember who we are. Thanks, Carol, and thank you, Cornelia. I love you guys.
Cornelia.
Sorry, I thought I was unmuted, but Deborah Ann has her hand up. So before we
Thank
go
you.
into breakout rooms.
I just wanted to say, as I saw each one of your faces, I was really aware that the glory and the magnitude of love I felt for each of you was actually for myself. And each of you are just a reflection of me, and I love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deborah Ann, for giving us these final words before we go into the breakout rooms. So if you have time and you want to go into the breakout rooms, and what we are going to talk about today is, Carol just put it also in the, I guess into the chat, is we are talking either about, was there anything that you can think about of a paradigm shift that you might want to take this year, the upcoming year, that might change your life forever? Or you can also talk about what you just experienced. Do you actually remember who you are? Do you remember what it is to be pure, to be innocent, to be who you really are, your soul self? And with that, we all wish you here from Ancient Secrets blessed transition into the new year, into 2025. And we will definitely, hopefully, see you next Sunday, same time, for our next Global Healing Miracle Call. Carol, a final word from you?
My final word is gratitude to Dr. Clint G. Rogers, to our Siddhaveda lineage, back to Master Jivaka, the physician to the Buddha, Baba Ram Das, of course, Dr. Naram. And we're so grateful for the opportunities that we've had to grow and learn from one another, and to the host of volunteers that keep this place running. It's amazing what Jaina has done for keeping the Sunday calls going in this past year was amazing. The volunteers for translation. We celebrated last week. The Ancient Secrets cookbook is in Italian. Woohoo! It's in German. There's so many things to celebrate. The pet book was just translated into Portuguese. So our volunteers continue to make this a thriving, growing community. And there's so much in opportunities for you to contribute if you'd like. We have programs. Luke continues to support the homeless. We have so many things that we're passionate about, and making this a space where you can come and feel loved and heard and seen remains very near and dear to our heart, of something that we want to continue to see happen. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for who you are. And with that, we'll take a few minutes if you're able and willing. Gary, thank you. Hope, Beverly, Belle, all of you, thank you so much. Deborah Ann, I'm so grateful to have you here, and hope to see you guys soon.
And thanks to you, to Carol and Cornelia. Oh my God, what rocks you are for this community. We love you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you. So I open up the breakout rooms.